You weren't supposed to find this, but heaven made sure you did. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't luck. This was alignment. Something divine pulled you here, maybe through a whisper, a strange feeling, a late-night scroll that suddenly paused. Maybe your heart skipped when you saw the title, or your spirit leaned in without you knowing why. That's not coincidence. That's orchestration. You were chosen to receive this first, not because you're better, but because heaven knew your heart was soft enough to hear it now. Archangel Michael has been circling your name for hours, fighting in realms unseen, moving through spiritual grids, watching the timelines shift with urgency. He's not just a distant warrior of heaven. He's a guardian assigned to your story. And lately, he's been pleading for permission to speak, to warn, to reveal what's been rising quietly beneath the surface of your life. There is something approaching, something that looks harmless, something that may even seem familiar, but it's not what it appears to be. Heaven sees it, and now, because of mercy, not merit, you are being given the first glimpse, the first insight, the first chance to act before it comes too close. Listen carefully, beloved. A hidden danger has already passed near you. It was deflected in the night. A plan was whispered about you behind closed doors, both in the physical and in the spirit, but it did not touch you. Why? Because God commanded His angels concerning you. Psalm 91:11 says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." That's not poetic, that's protocol. That verse wasn't written for someday. It was sealed for right now. And Michael was the one who obeyed the command. He stood between you and the thing that had your name on it. But now heaven has allowed him to speak, not just to protect, but to prepare. God didn't send this message to scare you. He sent it to align you. He wants your healing, not just your escape. This isn't about survival anymore. It's about restoration. You've spent too many seasons just getting by, just patching the holes, just enduring the attacks. But that is not your final identity. You are not called to stay in hiding. You are called to rise in healing. The wounds you carry are not weaknesses, they are entry points for divine reversal. And that reversal begins right now, in this very moment. Michael sees what you can't. He's not only a fighter, he is your defender of timing. And timing is everything in the spirit. There are things heaven has held back not because you're unworthy, but because the timing wasn't yet safe. But now, the timing is shifting. The window is open. The veil is lifting. And heaven is trusting you to hear this, to believe it, and to respond. You don't have to do everything. You just have to stay open. That's why Michael has fought for hours to get this to you. This wasn't supposed to be another passing moment. This was scheduled on heaven's calendar. Someone else may have scrolled past it, but you didn't. You stayed. You're here. And that means your spirit recognized what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. This is your confirmation. Heaven is still involved. God still sees you. The angels are still working. You have not been forgotten, and you are not late. What looked like silence was actually shielding. What felt like delay was actually direction. And now, because you didn't give up, because your heart remained open, heaven is releasing something new. Archangel Michael is leaning close now. He's not shouting. He's whispering, because he doesn't need drama to deliver destiny. He just needs your attention. The battle for your future is not over, but the authority has shifted. The attacks won't land the same. The confusion won't linger as long. Why? Because heaven has sent you this moment as a reset, a holy interruption, a prophetic turning point. And now, I speak over you. Let the reversal begin. Let the pain release. Let the fog lift. Let the healing start, not later, not eventually, but now. You were not meant to stay bound to yesterday's weight. What's been assigned to your future will not be delayed another day. Say this aloud, even in a whisper. I receive my covering. I believe this message was for me. I step into healing and divine timing. This is not hype. This is heaven. If your heart feels a trembling, don't resist it. That's the Spirit moving. If your eyes well up with tears, don't brush them away. Michael has seen them. God has counted them. The angels have gathered around them. You're not alone, and you've never been forgotten. This message is your proof. Now, beloved, stay close, because what's coming next will make sense of what didn't. The next part is already being written in the Spirit. The angels are preparing to reveal it. Michael is not finished speaking, and heaven is not done healing. Let this moment mark you. Let it become a spiritual timestamp that you return to again and again. This is when the shift began. Come back tomorrow. Heaven has more to say. If you believe Archangel Michael is guarding you tonight, type "protected" in the comments as your declaration of faith and covering. The curse didn't land not because you were strong, but because you were covered. There are things you survived that you didn't even know tried to reach you. Not every battle makes noise. Some move like whispers. Some come dressed as friendship. Some slip in through conversations behind your back. Words coated in concern but rooted in resentment. Yes, someone close said something that was never meant for you to hear. But heaven did, and Archangel Michael did. And before the curse could complete its cycle, it was intercepted. You may not have noticed the moment it happened. The day your name was spoken with twisted intent. The time a door shut, for reasons that didn't make sense. The sudden anxiety, the delayed opportunity, the heavy cloud that came out of nowhere. These were echoes of a spiritual trap being laid. But Michael was already ahead of it. He had been circling, watching, listening, and when that hidden arrow was released, he raised his shield and blocked it. Isaiah 54:17 says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. That verse isn't about fear, it's about promise. It's your inheritance. It doesn't say weapons won't form, it says they won't win. It doesn't say tongues won't rise, it says they won't stand. And that's what happened. What was meant to poison your progress has been stopped mid-air. Let this settle in your spirit. You didn't lose because you were covered. You didn't crumble because angels were active. The attacks didn't reach you because heaven rerouted them. Archangel Michael, assigned to your life by divine order, took that hit in silence so you could walk forward in peace. And yet, you've felt the sting of betrayal, the ache of disloyalty, the strange distance in someone you trusted, the subtle shift in energy you couldn't explain. It wasn't your imagination, but it also wasn't the full story. What looked like rejection was divine protection. What felt like sabotage was actually strategic redirection. Because if God had let you hear every word, see every plan, feel every jab, you would have been crushed under the weight. So He shielded you, not just from the curse but from the knowledge of how close it came. Many battles were already won on your behalf before you ever woke up that morning. And heaven kept the evidence out of sight so your faith could stay intact. You didn't miss the war, you just weren't required to fight in it. That's what divine protection feels like. And now that the storm has passed, now that the words have fallen powerless, heaven is allowing the healing to begin. God's justice doesn't always look like punishment. Sometimes it looks like delay. The door didn't open when you begged because it would have led to poison. The relationship didn't restore because the heart behind it had not. The opportunity vanished because the motive behind it was to harm. You were spared, not sidelined. But betrayal still hurts. Even when the outcome is blocked, the wound of knowing they spoke against you, that they smiled while speaking harm, that wound runs deep. And heaven sees that too. That's why Michael stayed. That's why he didn't just fight and leave. He remained to help guide the healing. Not just externally, but in the places you've kept locked away. It's time now to stop reopening what heaven already closed. That conversation, that heartbreak, that question, why would they say that? Let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because it doesn't get to matter anymore. The curse didn't land. You are still standing. And what the enemy tried to use as a trap is now being repurposed by God as a catapult. This moment marks the beginning of your elevation. The very pain that tried to define you is now becoming the platform from which you rise. God is using the betrayal to deepen your discernment. He's using the delay to sharpen your clarity. And He's using the heartbreak to reveal the hidden strength that's always been in you but was waiting for this moment to awaken. Now speak this aloud. I release the pain. I receive the protection. I walk forward, not wounded but covered. Let those words echo through your spirit. Let them cancel out every whisper of shame, every lie that says you were abandoned. You weren't. You were spared. And you're still being carried. Archangel Michael isn't just a name in Scripture. He is a living force in the unseen realm, moving on divine command, dispatched because God saw your name and said, cover them. Not later. Now. You don't need to repay the betrayal. You don't need to expose the liar. Heaven already saw, and heaven has already handled it. What you need now is peace. What you need now is space to heal. What you need now is silence. Not the silence of confusion, but the silence of security. The stillness that says, it's handled, you're safe, you're covered. He's not to hand. And so, beloved, let this part end not in panic but in peace. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. Let your mind rest. The curse didn't land. The wound is healing. And the next chapter isn't about what was taken. It's about what's about to be restored. Come close tomorrow. Because now that heaven has exposed what was hidden, Archangel Michael is ready to walk you into what's next. And it will be personal. It will be deep. And it will begin the healing you've been too afraid to ask for until now. This may feel like breaking, but heaven sees it as surrender. What you've been calling collapse is not the end of you, it's the hand of God holding what your strength could no longer carry. You've been afraid of the shaking inside your soul, of the moments when tears come without warning, when your chest feels heavy, when your mind whispers, I can't do this anymore. But beloved, you're not losing yourself. You're being found in Him. You're not falling apart, you're falling into God's hands. The breakdown you fear is really a breakthrough in disguise. Heaven doesn't call this failure. Heaven calls it softening. When walls crack, light enters. When defenses lower, healing flows. And the very place you thought was weakness is the soil where your restoration is being planted. God has been waiting for this exact moment, the moment when you finally grew too tired to hold everything alone, when your heart softened enough to let Him touch what you've kept buried. Archangel Michael has been near you in the silence. He's cradled you in unseen arms while you wept quietly into your pillow. The nights when you thought nobody noticed, nobody cared, nobody could understand. But heaven noticed. Heaven cared. And Michael did more than watch, he guarded. He made sure that the pain you thought would crush you didn't cross the line heaven had drawn. He fought so you could still breathe in this moment, so you would have the strength to hear these words right now. The Spirit whispers Isaiah 41:10 over you. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Hear that again, I will uphold you. That means you are not slipping into emptiness. You are slipping into arms that do not drop what they hold. The trauma you buried so deep is surfacing, not to shame you, but to heal you. God is not dragging you back into the past to punish you. He's reopening the wound so He can close it properly. Some of the memories, the flashbacks, the emotions you've been afraid to face, they're rising now because heaven is saying, it's time. Let us take it from here. You are not reliving the pain, you are releasing it. Beloved, you are being held, not harmed, covered, not abandoned. The tears you've cried have not been wasted, they've been collected. Every drop, stored in the bottle of the one who counts them. Psalm 56:8. The silence of God has not been neglect, it has been strategy. Sometimes He holds back the thunder so you can hear the whisper. Sometimes He doesn't fix the storm right away because He is first fixing the soil inside of you. And now He is saying, the soil is ready. Healing begins. Pain was never meant to define you, it was meant to deliver you. Every scar is not proof of defeat, but proof of survival. And survival is not the end of your story. You were not created merely to make it through. You were created to live in wholeness. That's why Michael leans closer now. He bends near your spirit and whispers, I've seen your future, and it's healed. Can you imagine that? Heaven has already seen the version of you that is not broken, not weary, not afraid. Heaven has already walked through the timeline and seen you laughing again without heaviness, sleeping without fear, waking up with peace that lingers all day. That reality already exists, and this moment, right here, is the bridge toward it. So take this breath with me. Inhale deeply and let your chest rise. Exhale slowly and let your shoulders drop. Feel it, the weight beginning to lift, even if just a little. That is not imagination. That is alignment. That is your body responding to heaven's presence. Now, declare this softly, even if your voice shakes. I am not falling apart. I am falling into His hands. I am not abandoned. I am covered. I am not broken beyond repair. I am being restored. Let those words sink into your spirit. Speak them again, for they carry the authority to rewire your atmosphere. Archangel Michael has fought for this moment so you would know the truth. The shaking is not your end. The softness is not weakness. This is the exact soil where God plants miracles. And what the enemy tried to call destruction, heaven calls transformation. So, beloved, let peace begin to seep in where panic once lived. Let tears fall without shame, because tears are sacred in this season. They are washing away what no longer belongs. You are stepping into the safety of hands that never fail. Rest now. Let yourself be carried. This is the moment of reversal, and as you breathe in this holy calm, know this: tomorrow, we will go deeper still, for heaven not only wants to heal what hurt you, but to show you what was hidden behind the smiles around you. Stay close, for what comes next will reveal what you couldn't see before. Not everyone around you is what they appear to be, but God already knew. The truth has been walking beside you in silence, waiting for the right time to be revealed. That time is now, not to destroy you, not to leave you broken, but to set you free from the illusion that has kept you tied to false peace and unseen harm. Heaven saw it before you did. Michael saw it while you were still giving the benefit of the doubt. And God, in His mercy, allowed this moment not to punish, but to protect. Someone close to you is hiding something. Not out of hate, but out of fear. Fear of losing you. Fear of being seen. Fear of what the truth might do once it leaves their mouth. So they've smiled, acted normal, kept the rhythm going, hoping the silence would protect them. But silence can be dangerous. And now, what's been hidden is being whispered in heaven. Michael has heard it, and God is exposing it. There's a conversation happening behind your back, a conversation you were never meant to hear, but heaven heard every word. You weren't in the room, but your name was. You weren't invited, but your destiny was discussed. And while others plotted, pretended, and positioned, Michael stood still, sword lowered, not striking but listening, because what's coming isn't vengeance, it's exposure. And exposure is the beginning of healing when heaven is involved. Luke 8:17 declares, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." That's not a threat, it's a promise, a spiritual law, a divine guarantee that truth always surfaces when the time is right, and the time is right now. You may feel the tension already. The energy has shifted. Something feels off in the atmosphere. And it's not paranoia. It's discernment, awakening. But here's what heaven wants you to know. You are not being shown this to retaliate. You are being invited to discern, not react. To listen with your spirit, not your ego. To choose healing over drama. To choose clarity over chaos. Because what's been revealed is not just information, it's instruction. It's time to set boundaries. It's time to listen carefully to who claps when you win, who stays quiet when you struggle, and who hides their heart behind the safety of a smile. Michael has exposed what was whispered, and now you must decide what to do with what heaven has revealed. This is not about cutting people off in anger. It's about releasing people in wisdom. This is about protecting the space God is preparing for your miracle. Healing sometimes includes disconnection. Protection sometimes includes distance. And not everyone who was part of your history is assigned to your destiny. The truth is, you've sensed this for a while. The unease, the patterns, the strange delays that happened every time you opened your heart too wide, the fatigue that settled in after certain conversations, the way your spirit felt drained, even when your smile stayed strong. That wasn't in your head. That was heaven signaling. Pay attention, there's more here than you see. And now, as painful as it is, the mask is lifting. The truth is surfacing. And you are being given something rare. Clarity. Clarity is a gift. It cuts away confusion. It anchors the heart in reality. It makes room for truth to breathe. And though it hurts at first, It becomes the foundation for spiritual maturity, because God never exposes to embarrass. He exposes to elevate. Letting go of false peace is the first step toward real protection. The kind of peace that requires pretending isn't peace at all, it's performance. And God is not asking you to perform anymore. He's asking you to be real, to be whole, to be guarded, not hardened, soft, not naive, boundaried, not bitter. So what now? Take a breath. Sit with what's been revealed. Don't rush to respond. Don't rush to confront. Just let it settle. Let the Spirit show you the next step. Let Michael continue guiding behind the scenes. Heaven will deal with what needs to be dealt with. Your only assignment now is obedience. Say this aloud, even gently. Lord, I receive the truth. I release the lie. I choose discernment over drama. I walk in peace, not pretense. Let those words anchor your atmosphere. Let them remind your soul that even when people pretend, heaven does not, God does not. And Archangel Michael has never, not once, taken his eyes off your safety. He didn't strike because this wasn't about punishment, it was about positioning. You are being positioned for greater, but greater requires pruning. Beloved, you are being freed from hidden harm. You are being unwrapped from subtle traps. This exposure is not rejection, it's redirection. And as painful as it is to see someone's true heart, it is far more dangerous to keep walking with eyes closed. Michael is still with you. He's not moving with rage. He's walking with wisdom. And so must you. Let the lie fall. Let the mask drop. Let the truth breathe. What remains after the exposure is what was meant to stay. And tomorrow, we will go deeper still. Because God is not just showing you who they are. He's about to show you who you are without the weight of what was hidden. You'll feel lighter, stronger, clearer, closer to the truth of your calling. So rest tonight, not in suspicion but in peace. Heaven is fighting for your clarity. You are not blind anymore. And you never have to pretend again. They're deciding something about your destiny right now, but heaven is interrupting. Behind closed doors, your name is being spoken. Quietly, strategically. In rooms where you cannot see. In hearts you would never suspect. In systems that feel too far above your reach. But make no mistake, God heard it. Archangel Michael saw it. And heaven has stepped in to give you access to something most people never receive, a spiritual early warning. There is a decision being weighed that concerns your next chapter, and it hasn't been finalized yet. That's why you're here. That's why this message found you at this exact moment. Not to stir fear, but to stir faith. Not to leave you in suspense, but to call you into alignment. Something is shifting, and if you respond with heaven, what was being decided without you will suddenly begin to move through you. You may have felt it already, a strange urgency, a sudden spiritual weight, an invisible heaviness around your name, as if something is hanging in the balance. You weren't wrong. Something is. Michael has been tracking the movement, a closed-door discussion that touches your calling, your next opportunity, your provision, or even your relationship. And God, in His mercy, has said, reveal it. That's why you're hearing this now. That's why it couldn't wait. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to partner. Proverbs 21:1 declares, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, like the rivers of water, He turns it wherever He wishes. This means even earthly decisions, governmental, relational, financial, are not out of God's reach. Even decisions made in secret are under divine influence. But here is the key. He moves when His people agree. You're not helpless. You've been called to stand in the Spirit, called to speak with precision, called to pray with clarity, not general prayers, but targeted intercession. You don't have to know the full details to be involved. Your spirit already knows what your mind cannot grasp. The decision that is forming involves you and heaven, is extending the invitation for you to participate in its outcome. Archangel Michael was not permitted to stop it, but he was permitted to alert you, because this is not the kind of battle fought with swords. It's fought with surrender, with alignment, with obedience. This is the divine intersection where protection meets participation. Heaven is saying, you're not just protected, you're powerful, and your next move matters. Right now, God is giving you access to pray before the seal is set, before the papers are signed, before the door is shut, before the connection is lost or the blessing is transferred. Yes, transferred. Because spiritual windows are real, timing is real, and obedience is the key that opens or closes what comes next. If you've been wondering why you feel restless, why something feels unfinished or unclear, this is why. Because something is being spoken about you, around you, near you, but not with you. And yet, you are not excluded. You are being invited behind the veil to intercede, to declare, to influence the outcome by moving heavenward in agreement. Let this be the moment you shift your posture, not of fear but of focus. Say it softly, Lord, I stand in agreement with what you have written. I don't need full understanding, I need full surrender. I trust you with what I cannot see, and I say yes to your intervention. These are not empty words, they are spiritual keys. Michael is watching, not for your perfection but for your participation, because heaven has seen this kind of decision before. And when the chosen say yes, when the obedient intercede, when the surrendered act quickly, God intervenes boldly. There's still time. That's why you're hearing this now. It hasn't been sealed. The window is still open. And this is the turning point. If you respond in obedience, if you release what needs to go and align your heart with what is righteous, you will see a shift. Heaven does not miss divine timing. And if you move now, not in panic but in prayer, you will step into a version of your future that reflects God's original plan, not man's interference. You don't need to fight with flesh. You need to align in the Spirit. Heaven will handle the hidden words. God will redirect the wrong decisions. Michael will stand watch, but only if you obey. So right now, begin to release your own assumptions. Say it with your spirit. I let go of my need to control the outcome. I yield. I surrender. I agree with heaven. That agreement unlocks something in the spirit. That faith becomes a legal response that heaven can act upon. This isn't performance, it's participation. You are not powerless. You are positioned. This decision that's being made isn't just about today. It's about what's to come. The right connection, the right assignment, the right timing, the right opportunity. And yes, some wrong doors may be shut permanently, but don't grieve what God closes. Celebrate what He's securing, because when heaven closes one door, it always means protection. And when it opens one, It always leads to purpose. Now let the Spirit settle you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to be available, attentive, aligned. Let your posture say to God, I'm listening, I'm ready. And tomorrow, Michael will speak again, not just to warn but to strengthen, because the battle is shifting, and your miracle is closer than you realize. Stay close. Something is about to break. You're standing on the edge of the miracle, but the enemy is trying to distract you. The fog you feel, the fatigue you can't explain, the strange discouragement that settled without warning, it's not coincidence. It's a last-minute distraction designed to make you walk away from something you've been praying for, fighting for, believing for. But heaven sees through it. Archangel Michael sees through it. And right now, this message is heaven's way of pulling you back from the brink. You're not failing, you're closer than you've ever been. Michael didn't cry because you were losing. He cried because you're so close to breakthrough, so close to release, so close to seeing what your prayers have been birthing in the Spirit for months, even years. But closeness can feel like chaos. Right before something births, there's pressure, contractions, confusion. That's why your mind has been spinning. That's why you've questioned everything lately, not because something's wrong, but because something is about to be right. Galatians 6-9 reminds us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Did you hear that? If we do not give up, the harvest is already assigned, the promise is already in place, but the enemy is trying to make you abort it with weariness. Make no mistake, he doesn't need to destroy the miracle, he just needs you to walk away from it first. The miracle is not far. It's not distant. It's here, but it's hidden, disguised, wrapped in something ordinary. It may look like a small opportunity, a conversation, a routine day, a quiet leading, something that doesn't scream miracle, but contains everything you've been waiting for. And if you lean into how you feel instead of what heaven is saying, you'll miss it. Don't abort the promise due to fatigue. Don't let your tiredness speak louder than your faith. That heaviness, that urge to quit, that desire to disconnect and numb out, it's not you. It's a spiritual smokescreen sent to cloud your discernment. Michael has cleared the path. The obstacles that once blocked your way have been removed. But now, the question is, will you walk it? This is the final test. Move by instruction, not emotion. Your emotions are real, but they're not always accurate. Your fear is loud, but it doesn't carry truth. Your faith, even when it's whispering, is carrying divine GPS, and heaven is saying, walk forward, even if your knees are shaking, even if your heart still hurts, even if you don't understand all the steps. Walk anyway. You're closer than you think, so much closer than you realize. You keep asking for confirmation, and this is it. You keep praying, Lord, show me if I should keep going. This is Him, speaking through Michael, saying, yes, don't turn back now. You didn't come this far just to stop here. You didn't survive all of that, fight through all of that, just to lay down at the finish line. You've been refined, you've been tested, and now, you are ready. Don't let weariness lie to you. Don't let distraction rob you. Don't let doubt delay you. This is the threshold. Say this out loud with your spirit. I will not quit. I will not retreat. I will not surrender to fear. I am closer than I feel. I walk forward in obedience, not emotion. This is your prophetic alignment moment. Not just for you, but for someone else too. If this part confirms something in your spirit, share it. There's someone else on the edge of quitting who needs to hear this exact word. Your obedience might become someone else's miracle. Share this message. Type "I'm moving forward" in the comments. Let heaven know you're still in the fight. You don't need to have every detail figured out. You don't need to feel completely strong. You just need to take the next step. One quiet, obedient step. Heaven will meet you there. Michael is already ahead of you. The path may still feel unclear, but the atmosphere has been cleared. Walk. Yes, it's intense. Yes, it's heavy. But that's what labor feels like. Right before birth. Don't walk away now. Don't go silent. Don't freeze. You are about to see the shift you've been praying for, and heaven has already begun moving things on your behalf. Rest in this truth tonight. If you're tired, it's not the end. It's evidence that you've been pushing through something powerful. But the finish line is not your stopping point, it's your stepping stone. And tomorrow, the atmosphere changes. Something starts breaking wide open. Because you chose to stay when it got hard. You chose to believe when it didn't make sense. You chose to move by faith, not by what you felt. And heaven noticed. Keep going. You're not just close, you're next. Heaven didn't block it to punish you, he delayed it to protect you. That door you wanted to open, that opportunity you chased, that person you prayed for, that timing you begged God to honor, you called it rejection. You called it mistiming. You questioned your own worth, your prayers, your faith. But beloved, it was never rejection, it was redirection. It was never failure, it was divine preservation. What you thought you lost was heaven holding back what would have hurt you. There was a reason the job didn't call you back. There was a reason the connection went cold. There was a reason the opportunity vanished without explanation. You tried to make sense of it. You tried to move on. But somewhere deep inside, a part of you still wondered, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. What looked like a delay was actually a shield. Michael intercepted what looked good but wasn't God. It had the right packaging, the right timing, the right offer, but not the right spirit. And before it could reach you, heaven stepped in and said, "Not yet, not this one, not now." Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." That includes the things you don't understand. That includes the yes you didn't get. That includes the almost that never turned into always. You didn't miss your moment. Heaven was perfecting your moment. Archangel Michael has been standing between you and what wasn't safe sometimes. Without your knowledge, often without your permission. Because love doesn't always say yes. Protection doesn't always give answers. Sometimes God's mercy sounds like silence. Sometimes His goodness feels like delay. But here's the truth. The wait wasn't wasted. The delay preserved your heart. The detour protected your future. If you had stepped into that situation too early, it would have drained you, distorted you, or derailed you. And God said, "I love you too much to let that happen." So yes, He let the clock run longer. Yes, He closed the door you tried to pry open. Yes, He allowed the silence when you wanted clarity. But it was all working together. Heaven wasn't late. Heaven was layering your future with safety you didn't even know you needed. And now, that delay is breaking. Not because the pressure is finally over, but because you're finally ready. You've grown in ways that couldn't be rushed. You've healed in places that had to go deep. You've matured in ways that qualify you for what's next. And heaven sees it. Michael sees it. The green light is near not because time has passed, but because transformation has taken place. Some storms are actually divine rescheduling. What felt like chaos was heaven rearranging your calendar. What looked like rejection was God moving appointments into their proper place. It hurt. It was quiet. It didn't make sense at the time. But look at you now, wiser, softer, stronger, more sensitive to the Spirit, more aware of who you are. That didn't come by accident. It came by waiting. And now what's next won't be rushed, but it will be right. You don't have to settle for what just seems good. You're about to receive what is divinely aligned. The next opportunity will come with peace, not pressure. The next door will open without striving. The next relationship will speak to your soul, not just your wounds. You won't have to force it. You'll just know. Let that truth calm the storm inside you. Say this now, quietly but confidently. What I thought was rejection was God's protection. I receive the timing of heaven. I believe that the delay was love, and I trust what's coming will be better than what I prayed for. Let those words settle into your spirit. Let them untangle the disappointment you carried. Let them begin to heal the parts of you that still mourn what didn't happen. You haven't been forgotten. You've been hidden. Hidden until the moment is safe. Hidden until your heart is whole enough to carry the weight of the blessing. Hidden until the counterfeit is out of the way, and the real can find you. Michael never stopped guarding your timeline. Even when it felt like heaven went quiet. Even when the door stayed shut. Even when the waiting room felt endless. He was there intervening, protecting, postponing what looked promising but wasn't pure. And now, beloved, the spiritual climate is shifting. The calendar is turning. The delay is lifting. What's been held back is inching closer. What's been whispered in heaven is beginning to echo on earth. You'll feel it not in a shout, but in a stillness. Not in fireworks, but in a settled peace that says, "This is it. This is what I waited for." So breathe. Smile again. Begin to expect again. Because what's ahead won't drain you. It will build you. It won't confuse you. It will confirm you. It won't harm you. It will heal you. And tomorrow, heaven reveals what you've truly been waiting for, not just restoration, but the sacred inheritance you were born to receive. Stay close. Heaven never wrote survival over your story. Michael is fighting for your restoration. You've learned how to endure, how to push through, how to smile through brokenness, and breathe through spiritual exhaustion. You've mastered survival, but beloved, you were never meant to live there. Survival is a hallway, not a home. It's the space between devastation and destiny, but it's not your destiny. And heaven has issued a declaration today. Your survival season is over. Healing is now the assignment. Michael has been fighting for this moment, not just to keep the enemy away, but to lead you into something deeper. Not defense, but restoration. He has seen the quiet suffering you don't talk about, the compromises you've made because you were just too tired to keep hoping. He's seen the way you've lowered your expectations, not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion. And yes, he wept, not because you disappointed heaven, but because you were created for more than barely holding on, more than nights of silent tears, more than patching wounds with distractions, more than surviving, Joel 2:25 carries the heartbeat of God's promise to you right now. I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. Not just days, not just feelings, years, years that were stolen, years you spent stuck, years you thought were wasted, years you poured into people who never saw your worth, years you spent apologizing for your sensitivity, your dreams, your discernment. God is not just offering comfort, He is offering restoration. And this isn't vague. This isn't distant. This is happening now. Heaven is shifting you from survival to full restoration, from numbness to wholeness, from just enough to more than enough, from I'm okay to I'm free. And this shift isn't just external, it's internal first, because this healing will touch places you forgot how to pray for, the corners of your heart you stopped mentioning, the memories you tucked away because they were too heavy to unpack, the ache you learned to live with, the disappointments you stopped naming, the people you forgave but never truly released. God is not skipping over any of it. He's healing the places that made you think you had to settle, that taught you to shrink, that whispered, "Just be grateful it's not worse." But beloved, God never called you to not worse. He called you to deep joy, lasting peace, and sacred love that stays. Joy that stays, not relief that fades. That's what heaven is releasing. Not a temporary high, not a short season of calm, but a life that is rooted in peace. Not perfection but presence. The presence of the one who restores all things. Michael is not guarding your survival anymore, he's guiding your restoration. And restoration doesn't mean returning to what broke you. It means stepping into what was healed for you. You don't have to rebuild with the same pieces. You don't have to go back to the broken thing and pretend it's whole. Some relationships, some jobs, some mindsets were meant to end, not to punish you, but to position you. And now, the invitation from heaven is clear. Let go of what was so you can hold what is. You've been holding memories in one hand while trying to receive blessings in the other. But full hands can't catch falling miracles. You must release what expired to embrace what's been assigned. Right now, something sacred is happening. The Spirit of God is pressing into your chest, not to crush, but to soften, to open the space where joy can live again, where laughter doesn't feel guilty, where hope doesn't feel risky, where love doesn't feel like a gamble. So let this be the moment you breathe again. Let this be the moment you whisper aloud, I release survival. I receive restoration. I walk out of what hurt me and into what heals me. Let that declaration echo in the atmosphere. Let the angels record it. Let Michael seal it. Let heaven move on it. Because the old chapter is closing now. And no, you're not going back to how things were. You're stepping into something better than you imagined. Not recycled, not reassembled, restored. You may not see it all at once, but you'll feel it. Like strength returning in your bones, like hope warming your soul again, like breath in places that were suffocating. You'll begin to speak differently, pray differently, love differently, not because you're pretending, but because you've been changed. Heaven says, you've survived enough, now live. And tomorrow, Michael will reveal what's already circling you, what's been released but hasn't yet landed, what's on the way and how to prepare your life to receive it. Rest now in this. You're not surviving anymore, you're rising, and heaven is smiling as you do. It's already been dispatched, but heaven needs you to prepare the space. This miracle is not waiting to be approved. It's not on hold. It's not undecided. It's already in transit. Archangel Michael has seen it released. He's watched it begin its descent like a sealed letter from the throne room of God, already addressed with your name. But right now, it's circling, paused, waiting. Not because it's delayed, but because heaven is looking for something. Your readiness. Heaven doesn't land miracles on chaos. Divine assignments do not rest on cluttered altars. The breakthrough that's approaching is sacred, and sacred things require room. It's not just about timing, it's about preparation. And right now, you are not waiting on your miracle is waiting on you. Jesus told a parable in Matthew 25-10. And those who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. It might cherish this. Did you catch that? Those who were ready went in. Not the most talented, not the most informed, the most prepared. There was a window, and they either moved in time or missed it. The same principle applies now. Something has been dispatched for you: healing, restoration, provision, relationship, opportunity, clarity, but it's not waiting at the door forever. There is a window, and preparation is the key to entering through it. Michael says your preparation is a sign of trust. When you clean the room, you're telling heaven, I believe what you said is coming. I'm not just hoping, I'm aligning. So what does that preparation look like? It looks like cleaning the room spiritually. Repent of anything you know you've been holding on to. Release unforgiveness. Break agreements with lies about your worth, your timeline, your identity. It looks like cleaning the room emotionally. Let go of emotional clutter, old pain you've rehearsed, old fears that still take up space in your mind, trauma that heaven is now ready to heal. Say, I refuse to carry into my next miracle the wounds of my last battle. It looks like cleaning the room relationally. Yes, this one is hard. But miracles do not rest where there is manipulation, bitterness, jealousy, or compromise. Ask the Spirit, who have I outgrown in this season? Who do I need to release so I can receive what's next? Like forfromly extended. The lovely at founds, not out of pride, but out of alignment. Because the miracle is holy, it cannot land on spiritual clutter. Michael has seen it happen too many times. A miracle arrives, but the heart isn't ready. The home isn't ready. The priorities aren't right, and the miracle returns to sender. That won't be your story, not this time. Because now, you know that faith is not passive. Faith prepares. Faith gets ready. Faith makes the bed, opens the windows, clears the space, and says, it's coming, and I will not miss it. And let me say this with love and urgency. The miracle won't knock twice. That's not to scare you, it's to anchor you. Heaven moves in cycles, and when the window opens, those who are aligned receive the fullness. But those who hesitate, they often watch someone else receive what was meant for them. That's why this message reached you today, because the window is open now. This is the moment where your preparation becomes obedience, where your alignment becomes protection, where your trust becomes action. Say this softly but boldly. I'm ready, I'm making room, I'm preparing the space because I believe what heaven said is already on the way. Let those words echo in your atmosphere. Say it again if you have to. Repeat it until your soul believes it. Heaven is watching. Michael is standing. The miracle is circling. Now it's your turn to move. Begin clearing space today. Delete the distractions. Forgive the offense. Cancel the lie. Rearrange your spiritual room until everything in you says, "Let it land, I'm ready now." And tomorrow, heaven will teach you how your very words, your very declarations, have the power to either open the door or close it. You've cleared the space. Now it's time to speak with power, because what you say next will shift everything. Stay close. The moment is near. Heaven is listening, and your next words will either open or close a door. This isn't metaphor. This is reality in the spirit. Archangel Michael says, "Your words are opening realms right now." The atmosphere is pregnant with instruction, with breakthrough, with miracles already in motion. But what comes next doesn't just depend on what God has released. It depends on what you declare. You've prayed, you've cried, you've waited. But now comes the part that many overlook: agreement. Heaven is listening not just to your requests, but to your responses. Not just to your desperation, but to your declarations. Your voice carries weight in the unseen realm, and this very moment is charged with a choice. Will you align your words with what heaven has spoken, or with what fear is whispering? Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That's not poetic, that's prophetic law. Every word you release is a seed. Every sentence you speak creates structure in the spirit. Your mouth is not just commentary, it's construction. You are building or tearing down with every declaration. And right now, Archangel Michael is standing ready, but he cannot move until your words agree with what heaven is doing. God is not asking you to feel it, He's asking you to speak it. Even if your voice shakes, even if your heart is still catching up, even if you don't see the proof yet. Don't speak fear into what heaven is trying to bless. Don't let past disappointment contaminate present instruction. You've come too far, endured too much, survived too many things to let fear be the loudest voice now. This moment, this very second, is not about explanation, it's about activation. It's not about having all the answers. It's about giving God your yes. This is the time for holy agreement. So speak this aloud now. I receive, I surrender, I align. Let heaven hear it. Let the angels mark it. Let Michael move with it. Say it again if you have to. Say it until it feels like truth. I receive. I surrender. I align. This is the moment the atmosphere shifts. Not with thunder, not with noise, but with alignment. Heaven doesn't move by emotion, it moves by agreement. What you say next matters. Not tomorrow, not after you feel ready. Now, you don't need to speak 1,000 words. Just a few, but let them be clear, intentional, aligned with faith. You're not casting wishes into the wind. You're releasing keys into the kingdom. Michael says many miracles were delayed, not because heaven didn't release them, but because the recipient didn't speak in time. Fear shut their mouth. Doubt hijacked their declaration. Weariness replaced worship. But not this time, not for you. This is your moment to speak, not based on what you feel, but based on what you believe. Heaven is waiting for the sound of your faith, so here's the invitation. Type it in the comments. Let the angels see it. I receive. I surrender. I align. Let your public agreement be a witness in the spirit. Let your voice partner with what God has already written. This is more than a social moment. This is a spiritual seal, and as you type it, declare it out loud again. I receive. I surrender. I align. When you say that, something begins to unlock. not just in your atmosphere but in your identity. You step out of hesitation. You step into inheritance. You stop living from pain, and you begin to live from promise. God didn't bring you here just to observe. He brought you here to participate. And now your voice becomes your entrance. Your faith becomes your pathway. You've cleared the room. You've prepared the space. And now, speak life into it. Fill it with faith. Fill it with clarity. Fill it with expectancy. Your words create the echo heaven responds to. Let it be said of you, they agreed when it mattered most. They declared truth before they saw the breakthrough. And now, beloved, now that your mouth has moved with heaven, listen, because the signs are coming, the whispers are near. Watch for sudden confirmations, names you hear twice, phrases repeated in unexpected places, dreams that carry meaning, random words that touch a nerve in your spirit. This is how heaven speaks to those who align. The door has cracked open. The light is beginning to spill through. And tomorrow, Michael will reveal the hidden weapon the enemy couldn't touch. What God placed in you that has survived every fire. The core of you that's still holy, still chosen, still unstoppable. But today, let this be the day your words moved heaven. Let this be the turning point. And remember, what you say next will shift everything. The devil tried everything, but he couldn't touch what God hid in you. All the storms, all the betrayals, all the heartbreaks that nearly broke you, every attack that came disguised as disappointment, every word spoken against you in anger or envy, every season where it seemed like you were drowning in pain. Through all of it, there was something inside of you that could not be touched. You may have felt like everything was stolen. You may have thought you lost yourself. But there has always been a core part of you, sacred, sealed, untouchable, that remained hidden in God. Michael saw the battles you couldn't fight. He shielded the calling buried beneath the trauma. He knew that if the enemy could not destroy your spirit, your gift, your assignment, then he could only distract you. That's why the warfare against you has been so relentless. The enemy could not get to the treasure, so he tried to bury it under layers of lies, shame, and exhaustion. He thought if he piled enough weight on top of you, you'd never find what God planted. But 2 Corinthians 4-7 reminds us, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." Yes, you may feel fragile, ordinary, cracked like clay, but inside you is treasure. Inside you is a weapon the enemy has never been able to touch. Inside you is divine power, entrusted by heaven, hidden away until the right time. The enemy saw the surface, but God hid the substance. He could see your weaknesses. He could see your fears. He could see the tears that made you feel small. But he never had access to the depth of who you are. He never had permission to touch the place where God placed his spirit. And now, heaven is declaring it's time for what was hidden to rise. The hidden gift is awakening. That dream you buried because you thought it was impossible. That prayer you stopped praying because it hurt too much. That part of you that once burned with vision but got covered with disappointment, it's not gone. It's been waiting. It's been sealed. And now, heaven is peeling back the layers. You are about to see why you survived. You are about to understand why the enemy fought you so hard. He wasn't fighting your present, he was terrified of your future. He wasn't afraid of what you lost, he was afraid of what you were about to gain. Every delay, every distraction, every detour, it was all designed to keep you from discovering the weapon inside of you. But he failed, because what was buried is now blooming. The seed that sat under the soil is breaking through. The tears that watered the ground are producing fruit. The prayers you whispered in exhaustion have become fertilizer for something new. And no attack, no lie, no betrayal can stop what God has already chosen to awaken. Beloved, take a breath here. This is holy ground. You may still feel cracked. You may still feel weak. But the treasure was never your strength. It was God's Spirit inside of you. And that Spirit is rising. The anointing is stirring. The gift is breathing again. You're not just surviving, you're about to step into authority. Archangel Michael bows at this moment, not in defeat, but in reverence. Because he has seen what you carry, he has defended it. He has fought battles you never knew existed to protect it. And now, as heaven declares awakening, he steps aside to let the light within you shine. Say this now, softly but with faith. I receive the awakening. I embrace the gift. I honor the treasure inside me, and I declare it is time to bloom. Let those words echo in your spirit. Let them seal this moment, because heaven is shifting the narrative. You are not just a survivor, you are a vessel of divine power. You are not broken, you are chosen. And what the enemy could never touch is now rising to the surface. As you rest in this truth, prepare your heart for what comes next, because the closing whisper is near. Tomorrow, we enter the peaceful assurance that you are covered, sealed, and held forever. You're not ending in survival, you're ending in restoration. You can rest now because the healing has begun and the protection is sealed. This wasn't just another video. This wasn't content. This was a divine appointment written into your timeline before you even knew to look for it. Heaven orchestrated this moment, not because you were perfect, but because you were ready. And now that you've heard, now that you've received, something in your atmosphere has shifted. A seal has been placed over your mind. A covering has been stretched over your home. And healing, deep, lasting, sacred healing has already begun in the hidden places. Psalm 121:8 says, "The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore." That is not a metaphor. That is not a wish. That is a divine guarantee from the throne room of the Most High. Your comings, your goings, your nights, your mornings, your decisions, your detours, your delays, your destiny, all of it watched over, guarded, covered. You've been running for so long, dodging arrows, trying to patch up what life tore open. But tonight, heaven says, you can stop running. You're not in a war zone anymore. You're in a sanctuary. Archangel Michael bows, not in sorrow, not in warning, but in honor. Heaven has witnessed your endurance, your quiet strength, your hidden prayers, the nights you couldn't speak but still believed, the mornings you got up even when everything inside you wanted to give up. And now, the warrior angel who fought beside you, who shielded your calling through fire and storm, bows in reverence. Not because you were never weak, but because you chose faith when fear made more sense. There is a stillness entering your atmosphere now, a holy hush, a spiritual hush that says, you don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to earn what's already yours. You are loved. You are seen. You are safe. And most of all, you are covered. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. I say it again, gently, for the part of you that still wonders. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. What's for you has not expired. The promise didn't pass you by. The door hasn't closed, it's been waiting for you to heal enough to walk through it fully. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't lost your place. Heaven doesn't run on earthly clocks. It runs on readiness, on surrender, on divine alignment, and right now, you're exactly where you're meant to be. This is a resting place now. Not just tonight, but any night. You can come here again. This is your sanctuary. This is where you lay it all down. This is where the angels still gather. This is where the battle ends and the peace begins. Don't let this be a one-time encounter. Come back tomorrow. Let this peace grow. Let this covering stretch further and deeper over every area of your life. You don't need to know the next step. You just need to know you're held in the hands of the one who already walked ahead. God has seen every tomorrow. He's walked through every outcome. And He chose the one that brings you peace, not just progress. That's why you're here now. Because your healing is not random, it is sealed. Your protection is not momentary, it is permanent. Let these words wash over you like a lullaby from heaven. You are safe. You are loved. You are not alone. You are covered. The angels are not leaving. The presence of God is not departing. The covering doesn't fade when the screen goes dark. It lingers. It rests over your bed, your thoughts, your family, your dreams. And when you sleep tonight, you will not toss with fear, you will breathe with trust. Speak this softly. I am covered. I am healing. I am safe. Now say it again, but slower this time, like a whisper to your own soul. I am covered. I am healing. I am safe. Something sacred just sealed in the spirit. This is not the end, it's the turning point. From here forward, you walk with a new atmosphere. You move with a new authority, not because the battle disappeared, but because your posture shifted. You are no longer surviving, you are protected. You are no longer questioning, you are aligned. There's nothing else you need to carry tonight. Leave it here. Every fear, every doubt, every ache. Lay it down at the feet of the one who's already writing your restoration. You've done enough. You've fought long enough. Now it's time to rest in what's already been done for you. The promise is sealed. You are covered. Let those be the last words you carry into your sleep. Let them echo as your final thought, and let your spirit respond not with striving, but with stillness. Come back tomorrow. This is your sanctuary. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are not alone here. Until then, may peace surround you. May angels guard you. May healing rise within you. Good night, beloved. You are covered. The healing is sealed.